I got back at my high school bully by seducing his girlfriend. Back in high school, I was a bit of a late bloomer. You know the type, skinny, glasses, super into video games. And then there was Danny, the early bloomer, the arrogant jock, and the bane of my existence. He was relentless in his taunts and mockery, making fun of everything from my appearance to my interests. To make matters worse, Danny was dating Christie, the cheer captain. She was gorgeous, no doubt, but she wouldn't give me the time of day. I had a bit of a crush on her back then, but she was part of the in crowd, and I was just the nerdy outcast. Fast forward to college, and the tables began to turn. My body finally caught up with my age, and I started working out, putting on muscle, and learning jiu-jitsu and boxing. Before I knew it, I was a new man, confident, handsome, and attracting the attention of the ladies on campus. Danny and Christie, meanwhile, had decided to attend the same community college as me. I guess they thought they could ride out their high school popularity for a few more years. Boy, were they wrong. As soon as the other girls started showing interest in me, Christie's shallow nature kicked in, and she began flirting with me too. It was surreal, but I couldn't help but notice that she was still with Danny, who was quickly losing his luster now that he was just another fish in a much bigger pond. Despite my past crush on her, my newfound confidence made me realize I didn't respect her for being so superficial. She wanted nothing to do with me until I had climbed the social status ladder, and now, here she was making it obvious that she was interested. Danny was still an ass to me any time he saw me, but he no longer intimidated me. I would just brush him off and move on. I mean, we weren't in high school anymore, but he just kept acting like we were and that nothing had changed. But he was on the college baseball team and really thought he was the shit. That's when the idea hit me. I could get back at both Danny and Christie by seducing her and making sure that Danny found out about it. It was a plan as deliciously devious as it was satisfying. I started by engaging with Christie more, chatting her up in between classes and finding common ground. At first, she seemed to be playing me, trying to use my interest to boost her ego. But as the days went by, she couldn't deny her growing attraction to me. Then all of the stars finally aligned. Danny was out of town for a game and Christie asked me to come to her place and help her study for our psychology exam. I could tell within 2 minutes that she didn't care about anyone's psychology but her own, and that is when things took a steamy turn. It was all too easy. She made her move, and I went right along with it. It was great, and after it was finally over, all I could think about was how I was going to let Danny know what had happened. I wanted him to feel the sting of karma, to know that he wasn't the big man on campus anymore. I decided to let it slip to one of Danny's friends, one of those guys who always seemed a little too eager to share juicy gossip. I knew he wouldn't be able to resist spreading the news, and it wasn't long before Danny was made aware of what his little high school sweetheart had done. When Danny finally confronted me, he was fuming. It was clear he couldn't handle the humiliation, and he decided he was going to take it out on me. I asked him if we could take this to a place that was a little more private, but he was in a rage. He threw the first punch right there on campus right in front of everyone, but my jiu-jitsu and boxing training had prepared me for this moment. I ducked, countered, and let my training take over. Before he knew it, he was flat on his back, staring up at me in shock and disbelief. It was a sight I'll never forget, the once untouchable bully, utterly defeated and humiliated. Christie was crying, everyone else was cheering and screaming, and the campus police quickly arrived on the scene. Though I too was initially detained, the eyewitness accounts of 60 other people combined with the security footage made it clear that Danny was the aggressor, and that I had only defended myself. I was released with no consequence and no mark on my body, while Danny faced the consequences of his actions, all while sporting a nice black eye. In that moment, I felt a mix of emotions. There was the satisfaction of payback, of course, but there was also a sense of pity for Danny. I realized he had peaked in high school, and now he was just a lost, bitter young man. As for Christie, she'd become someone I no longer respected or even really cared about. Their reign of superficiality had come to an end, and in the process, I had discovered my own worth and strength. Word of the fight spread like wildfire, and Danny's reputation was in tatters. He and Christie eventually broke up, as their relationship couldn't withstand the strain of the scandal. Honestly, I don't think they were ever really good for each other. They fed into each other's worst traits, and I can't help but feel like I did them a favor by exposing their toxic relationship. Christie tried to pursue me, but I was above all of that. She asked me if I only slept with her to get revenge on Danny. I told her no, that it was a riveting experience to be with someone whom I had a crush on for so long, but in the end that was all it was. A one-time experience, and that I was not interested in having a relationship with her. As for me, life went on. I continued to excel in college, eventually transferring to a prestigious university to pursue my degree. I made new friends, genuine friends who liked me for who I was, not for what I looked like or how popular I was. I even met a wonderful girl who appreciated me for my intelligence, my interests, and my character. We've been together for a few years now, and I couldn't be happier. So, to all the late bloomers out there, to the nerdy kids who feel like they'll never measure up, I say this: be patient, be strong, and never forget your worth. Because one day, you might just find yourself getting the last laugh, and trust me, it feels pretty damn good. Would you have seduced your high school crush to get back at your high school bully? How would that make you feel? Let us know in the comments below. When you subscribe, be sure to click the notification bell. Click here for more Tangled threads.